discuss this important issue of insurance for human-wildlife conflict. Can you just give your background in this subject, Sumith?
Well, I have been in the World Bank as an environmental specialist working on wildlife issues for the last 15-20 years, and since then I was the former Director General of the Wildlife Conservation Department, and today I am an elephant researcher. And I'm focusing a lot on elephant behavior and human-elephant conflict management.
Lucky.
I'm an entrepreneur, and I have a business, in a renewable energy business, in biomass, and we resource our raw material from smallholder farmers and suppliers across the country. So that's what our business does. And me, in a personal capacity, I'm an environmental activist.
Great. Okay, thank you for sharing your time with us. So the first question, Sumith, could you tell us about why you think private insurance is important for this issue of human-wildlife conflict?
Well, let me approach it from a conservation point of view, because that's the way I look at things. Now, we have about average of 270 elephants being killed every year as a result of the conflict. Over 90% of these elephants are killed because of crop raiding. Right? And if there is some way of protecting the farmers' crops, either physical protection or compensation or insurance, then the tendency for the farmer to want to kill the elephant or maim the elephant is much less. So I am looking at this purely from the point of view of trying to reduce the incentives for elephants for the farmer to try to confront the elephant, because that would result in elephants dying, which is a huge conservation problem for the country and a huge livelihood problem for the farmers.
Okay, great. And Lucky, maybe you could tell us about why you're interested in this issue and how to make it succeed from a private sector point of view.
We actually don't have any land anywhere in this country, so we collaborate with anybody who has land. So that is smallholder farmers, private estates, state plantations, the Catholic Church, Buddhist temples, and also schools. And what they do is they plant this tree called Chlorsidia on their fence. And we purchase the branches of that fence, and we make renewable energy from that. The reason we're interested in this issue is because we are looking at how we safeguard our supply long term. We need farmers to continue to supply us over a 20-year period. And one of the key KPIs of that is to ensure that we develop the livelihoods of people, because they will then continue to stay on the land rather than migrating to towns to work. They would continue to be agricultural, but we want to look at how we develop their income level so that they remain and continue to supply us. It is self-interest. So that's one of the key reasons why we are working on this. Secondly, our investments come from via governments, via InfraCroatia, from governments. And one of the key KPIs is how we can achieve sustainable development goals. And safeguarding biodiversity is one of the key sustainable development goals. And me personally, as I said, it's my own personal passion. So having all of those things, and I'm the founder of the company, so it helps that we are interested in this space.
And just before we close, one final question. Who do you think can help pay the premiums? Because that's one of the main problems in the past attempts at wild insurance.
See, when you really look at the human-elephant conflict, right, it's the rural communities that they bear the brunt of the conflict. Elephants being in Sri Lanka is beneficial for all Sri Lankans, and it's a economic asset to the country, in addition to being a cultural asset. So while the entire country benefits from elephants being in the country, it is only a small community that is paying the price for it. So I don't think it is fair to expect that small community to pay for the entire premium of the human-elephant conflict or insurance premium. So I feel that there has to be some type of subsidy coming either from the government or from the tourism industry or some other source to make it manageable, so that the farmers actually have a manageable premium that they should be paying. I am opposed to not having the farmers paying anything, because they should have some ownership. So at least a nominal payment should be made by them. And secondly, I would increase the premium if they are cultivating land illegally. Because then, if not, it will encourage them to go and open more and more forested land illegally for cultivations. Whereas if the premium is higher for illegal land and much lower for legal land, then you are also incentivizing the farmers to try to not expand into protected areas with illegal encroachments.
And Lucky, do you have views on who could help pay?
Yeah, well, I totally agree with what Sumit says, but we also are entertaining a different way of looking at this, because farmers, generally speaking, are very poor, and asking them to have compensation is not easy for them to do given their financial circumstances. So what we're looking at doing is registering the tree that they plant for carbon, and using the revenue that we would generate from carbon credit finance income, which we would put into a trust and potentially pay some level of that insurance. But I totally agree with Sumit. I don't think we should not have anything. So, but initially we can start with that carbon trust paying for something. But I do think that because we are buying from farmers and we have to pay a farmer something, we can potentially longer term deduct a small premium to do what Smith has said.
Yes, because we
can be the aggregator. So an insurance company can deal with us rather than a myriad of farmers, and so therefore they don't waste their money on doing overhead, trying to do reporting and monitoring and all the other things. We can help facilitate that.
And we should also make sure by the nominal premium that the farmers pay, that the farmers actually try to protect their property. Because if they just because they are going to get insurance cover if they lose their crop and they just ignore it, you are going to encourage more elephants to come in. So they need to do certain amount of their traditional guarding of their farmlands also. So if they are not paying anything, they won't want to get involved in that.
Right, okay.
Or the other alternative is you just have some dedicated farmers who are growing crop for elephants, right? So that is also another way of looking at things. You just say to them, okay, well, all your income is going to come from feeding elephants.
Well,
then that's another way to look at it, because
that's interesting, because that's what the EU does. We pay in the EU, we pay farmers subsidies for doing environmentally friendly farming.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we could be paying Sri Lankan farmers to essentially feed elephants.
Yes, well, we're very happy to help facilitate that.
Yeah, in fact, there are certain farmers, what we call China farming or slash and burn agriculture, which is seasonal, right? So they cultivate 3 months of the year, and the lands like fallow for the next 9 months. The fallow period is ideal elephant habitat. So these farmers are actually facilitating elephant habitat. So I feel they should be getting ecosystems payments for doing that. This is something that we are still in the discussion with government to try to see whether these
would be like a payment fee for system services.
Exactly, because they are creating elephant habitat.
Well, we could do this with you. We could look at the areas that we're working in,
Sure.
and look at which farmers, because I'm sure there is data in the Wildlife Department of
Yes.
the areas, and if we are working in those areas, we can identify, and we have grassroots level connectivity, which we would help to figure out who, and then we can look at payments from the European Union, because we are looking at how we can facilitate.
Maybe not a donor, maybe the carbon market's more sustainable.
Yeah.
Yes, but then we can get a better price for our carbon.
Right.
Yeah, we can't, if we get, this is not the only thing we're doing with our carbon money. We plan to do drip irrigation systems because there's water stress. We plan to do English language training in villages because that's one of the core skills Sri Lankans need. We plan to do water tank rehabilitation. We plan to do cook stoves. So we have plenty of things that we want to do to improve the livelihoods of our suppliers. And this would be one. Insurance is one. So it's not the only thing. So if we instead of selling carbon credit for $5, we get $20, then we have an income stream because we are delivering on certain SDG goals. Then that gives us money to be able to do all these things.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.